Did we or did we not just spend over $150 at Angel's Envy? Now, it was a gorgeous event.
Welcome to another episode of
Bitches in the Kitchen. I'm Janet.
I'm Chris. That was so succinct. And we are going to talk about something we both really like.
Again.
I'm just excited to pour a shot of bourbon. Yeah. Hey, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. We were talking about a bar cart last time we videoed. That was making something to store this beautiful bottle. Now we're going to talk about the beautiful bottle. Today's episode is about a field trip that Janet and I took last Friday. When we set out to do this adventure, I'll set you up a little bit, let you know what we were doing. I belong to an organization called Bourbon Women's Association, and they had Janet's not a joiner, they had a private event, and it was for one of our favorite distillers, which is called Angel's Envy, and it was by invitation only because they were releasing a product that they've had stored for quite some time. So I was invited to attend this event, and I decided to take Janet as my friend.
I was a plus one.
She was my plus one. So we drove to Louisville, which is about 2 hours from where we live, and we arrived at the event. We were escorted upstairs to this beautiful spread of food. We were offered a lovely cocktail made with some bourbon. We mingled, and then we had the tasting party. The owner of the actual distiller, he did the presentation, talked all about it, how long it had been in there. We tasted, and then we had the opportunity to buy this beautiful bottle.
Not only was the food gorgeous, which we've shown you some pictures of, but to have 50 women and it was all women except for the owners, who love bourbon, all sharing a glass at the exact same time, sharing this experience from all walks of life. And then the owner who walked us through it was like, so what do you think? And then people got to share. So if you've ever done a tasting, whether you're in a bar or these private clubs that you like to go to, or if you're in a liquor store that's doing a tasting, you just kind of taste it and you keep it to yourself. But this was, what do you think? This is a brand new product. We're very proud of it.
You don't have to love bourbon to enjoy tastings. Lots of places do wine tastings.
It's just the experience.
It is an experience.
Oh wait, Andrew taught us how to do that. Not that this is an old cork. That's a big pour. Here, I'll give you the bigger one.
Ooh, can smell it. Our bottle is signed by the owner.
That's a bottle that will never go in the trash.
Yeah, we'll save the bottle for sure, which is also a thing. Then we went to another recommended liquor store, met some wonderful people there, and we're going to show you a little video of that tasting inside the liquor store because that was really fun. There's a liquor a bourbon that I've been looking for a long time, and I've wanted Janet to try it, and so I was like, they'll never have this, but then they did. So I was like a 5-year-old. You can see on my video. I'm literally so excited
giddy. She was giddy.
that we get to try this bourbon.
What is it called?
Blood Oath.
Blood Oath.
How many pours am I doing?
So Chris has been dying for this Blood Oath. She's been schlepping me all over God's creation.
Here for at least have a half.
Okay, that's
And
good
now
enough.
we have found Andrew,
Hi.
who is, and Shannon, who is all, who we just picked up at the last event, and she followed us here. Bourbon is a hobby.
It is.
First and foremost, you've seen the bar carts, and we haven't done a lot about our focusing on a love of bourbon. So this particular episode, you are seeing some sneak previews of many of our trips to seek out bourbon. Kentucky typically is the leader in bourbon, and since it's 2 hours away, we can do that easily. If we can share this extravagance with you as a hobby, well, then it turns into a whole different discussion because you have a hobby. Maybe yours is quilting or reading, whatever, or music, whatever
or
it is.
Or music.
Yeah.
I mean,
whatever it is, but this is one that Chris and I share.
Yes.
But this is a new one for us.
it was a man's drink. It was a man's world, and men drank bourbon. It dropped off big time in the 80s at the origination of craft mixing, and then craft beer, and then all of the mixology. That this really lost what it stood for when it first came out.
Until it became a boutique interest. First of all, hobbies, many hobbies cost money. Bourbon is a hideously expensive hobby. As a matter of fact, Chris and I have tried shamelessly to put ourselves on a spending moratorium and have failed.
We both failed. So we're going to meet to discuss. We're filming, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, by the way, Plainfield Liquor Store just sent me this crazy thing. They've got this stupid Imperial Stout beer. I'm thinking about going.
I'll meet you there.
So then we go and we buy hideous amounts of craft beer that neither of us needed, wanted, or intended to buy on that day. And that's when she says, I'm on a spending moratorium one day before we actually went on our field trip.
Yes. Let's just say we stayed south of a comma. As
Thank
we would
God.
for those three, and then we added up some other things. And so back to the hobby, some of you, I hope, if you're in a position where you have a hobby that is shamelessly expensive and you can afford it, then good for you. If you can't afford a shamelessly expensive hobby, there are so many of them. Doing something that you just really enjoy, whether it's with a group of people or just by yourself.
Janet says you have to put yourself on your to-do list. And by having a hobby, that is a way to put yourself on the to-do list.
Like, I wasn't a member of Bourbon Women. You invited me to go on this day with you, and it was a beautiful day. And so for me, it was just a matter of putting me on my list, saying, I'm not going to do anything else today except get in the car with Chris.
It could be as simple as committing to, I don't know, what? Going to the gym. All we're trying to say is we get it that everybody's in a different phase in life, and just find something you really like to do, whether it's reading books or coloring or scrapbooking or drinking bourbon or just sharing friend time or going to the gym or photography or a billion other things. There's a group for it, there's people for it, and seek out those people to share those interests with. Our world is so small. If you like photography, I promise you in about 5 seconds you can find a Facebook group, a meetup group, some kind of group that has the same interest as you, and you can join that. That's how I found Bourbon Women. The point is this: take care of yourself. Don't wait until you're me and have to learn how to do it at 50, because I promise it's harder than if you learn how to do it when you're younger.
And I'm actually interested to know how you spend your time.
Tell us what you guys do for hobbies.
Even if it's not a hobby, 5 minutes, 50 minutes, whatever it is, how do you carve out time to be in your own head, your own thoughts, or just for you? I'd be really interested to know how people do that.
And if you don't do it right now, if you're me and you don't do it, think about it and tell us what you think you should do or would do if you were not in the place that you are. Because we want to help you get there.
I was going to say, and if you need help trying to figure it out, you can.
Oh my gosh, we'd be happy to help. All right, we should close up this episode. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. As always, we don't thank you enough for spending time with us. We don't thank you enough for being loyal followers and loyal subscribers and just sharing time with us.
Say goodbye.
Say goodbye to Hollywood.
Are we still clinking?
Yes.
No, buddy.
I'm gonna cheat. Shh.
It's a Kia toaster. That's all gone. All gone.
Oops.
I snuck it while you went away. Wait, when you were, I snuck it when you went away. I just don't make sense.